Other comment you made a couple days ago, you said if you took over as governor, you'd cancel Black History Month in this state. Can you explain, your reasoning behind that? I think it's for a lot of people that was shocking to hear someone say that.
Now, so we're all Americans. We come from very different backgrounds. We have Norwegians, we have Finnish, we have Swedish, Polish, German. We have people from African backgrounds in this country. We're all immigrants who came to this country. And so therefore, even including the indigenous American people, the indigenous native people, the people from very different backgrounds, the thing that should unite us is the idea of the American identity, not because of the small group that we come from, because it's polarizing. If we're going to have a Black History Month, then what about a Finnish History Month? What happens to a Jewish History Month? What happens to a Swedish History Month? The list goes on and on and on. But these are all American history. So therefore, I feel that as governor, the way to move forward to stop this division and this polarization that's going on in our community is to forge a single American identity that we can all identify with first. No one is saying you should get rid of your background, and no one is saying that in the middle of that, there's not going to be any Black history being taught or people of that background history being taught. But also, how about Finnish history? How about Norwegian history? How about German history? How about the rest of the people that make up this great and beautiful state of Michigan also having their history being taught in an American History Month, which can encompass all of this? That's my point of view, and I stand by that statement.
Let me introduce this man to you guys. His name is Austin Chenge. He has never held a public office in the United States before, but he's trying to contest in the 2022 elections against the current governor of Michigan, state of Michigan in the United States, and he runs with the Republican Party. He was born in 1986 in Nigeria, so that means he's 34 years old or 35, and he's from Benue State in Nigeria. He graduated from the University of Birmingham School of Law in England. He is a decorated military specialist and has received an achievement medal as a distinguished honor graduate with a whopping score of 99.8% CGPA on active duty. His parents moved to the United States in 2008 in the state of Michigan. So yeah, this guy is the typical Nigerian immigrant that moved to the United States and is successful in his career, right? And there are so many Nigerians like that we are extremely proud of. And it's always a good thing, okay? You as a Nigerian or as an African in general, you find someone like you that moves somewhere else and becomes successful, you naturally want to celebrate with him. At the same time, a lot of these people that travel abroad, they do that simply because they are looking for greener pastures. They are trying to improve their standard of living, and they're just trying to improve their security situation. So it's understandable. I have no problem. I have no qualms with anybody that is trying to move somewhere else and improve his life. And even when you're trying to run for a political office in the new country that you find yourself in, I have no problem with you, okay? As far as you remain an upstanding person, a man of integrity, no problem. But in the case of Austin Chenge, I think the man is an absolute disgrace, okay? He reminds me of a typical Nigerian politician. The Nigerian politicians that have destroyed the country, that have made it unlivable for millions of Nigerians. And that's why millions of Nigerians leave the country to the United States, to Europe, to different parts of the world. People like Austin Chenge, he's a replica of these Nigerian politicians. And this is why I say so. You try to divide the people, okay, in order for you to win your votes. What this man is trying to do is he's trying to win the white votes in the state of Michigan, all right? And in the process of doing that, is absolutely sidelining the black votes. It wouldn't have been a problem for me if you stood for the right cause. But when you say you're trying to get rid of Black History Month. And the reason why you're trying to get rid of Black History Month is because European history is not celebrated. If you guys remember, this man did not even mention any other country. He mentioned Finland, Norway, Germany, and then he lumped the entire continent of Africa in one word, okay, as the immigrants that are represented in the state of Michigan. Listen, I don't even want to get into American politics. It's none of my business. I actually don't care about it, okay? But this man, Austin Chenge, trying to run for the governorship position, he's not a good representation of Nigerians, and he's not a good representation of himself. In my opinion, I feel like he's trying to sell his integrity for power. And unfortunately, he's going to make a lot of enemies in the process. And like I said, he's a replica of the politicians that we have in Nigeria. Keep in mind, where Austin Chenge is from, Benue State in Nigeria, is currently going through a major turmoil. There is a clash going on between farmers and herdsmen that has led to the killings of thousands of people. Okay, so the people of Benue are not even able to come united and fight off these problems that is going on in Benue. But then you're going to the United States and you're trying to teach the people over there how to be united and scrap Black History Month. It's a disgrace. Austin Chenge is an absolute disgrace, okay? I don't understand why people like this always pop out of nowhere and just come around embarrassing the rest of us. It doesn't speak for me, okay? Austin Chenge doesn't speak for me, but at the same time, he's still an embarrassment. And these are the people that makes it difficult for people of African descent all around the world to come together and unite for the common goal of us. It makes it difficult because now he's the typical example that they're going to be using. They'll be like, oh, you see all these Nigerian immigrants in the United States, they feel too proud. They don't want to mingle with us Black Americans. This is it right here. This is it portraying itself in the world. This is the typical example of the people that they are talking about. You see, and don't get it twisted. We have a lot of these types of people in Nigeria, and they are the ones that have put us in the mess that we are in. Like I said earlier, we Nigerians, we Africans in general, we have two problems as it stands. The primary problem is our politicians, our leaders. These guys have no clue what they're doing, and all they care about is enriching themselves at the expense of our standard of living. That's why you find so much corruption going on with the people in political offices. All they care about is getting rich, staying in power, so that they have immunity, and it makes it impossible for you to send them to prison because they have the immunity. And if you come across as an enemy, they use the state police, the state military to arrest you, throw you in jail. In some cases, they kill you. So Austin Chenge is a typical representation of those Nigerian politicians that commit those heinous crimes on Nigerians. That is Austin Chenge right there. And the only difference here is he's in America, and in America, you know, it's a little bit more civilized in terms of people not throwing you under the bus, in terms of politicians physically throwing punches in the Senate buildings. American politicians don't do that, but Nigerian politicians are hoodlums. They would throw punches in their Senate building, in their National Assembly. These guys have no chill. They will throw punches, throw chairs, slam each other on the wall, jump over fences. These people are a bunch of disgrace, Nigerian politicians. Austin Chenge reminds me of Garba Shehu, Femi Adesina, Lai Mohammed, you know, Loretta Onoche, people like that. Those are the people that Austin Chenge reminds me of. And the reason why I say this is because they are extremely similar. You're riling up a certain group of people, even though you know what you're doing is wrong, because there is no way on earth that you can tell me that you trying to scrap Black History Month that has been existing before you were born is wrong. That is just wrong. Okay, millions of Black people look up to Black History Month. We Nigerians, we Africans in general, we are not really tied into Black History Month because it's more of a Western concept, Black History Month. But for those of us that have visited Western countries or have lived in Western countries, then we understand the concept of Black History Month, okay? But for Austin Chenge, he has been in the United States for such a long time, not to be excusable to want to speak negatively about Black Americans, because that's what you're doing. You're trying to speak negatively about Black Americans just so you can win votes. That's why you remind me of Femi Adesina. You remind me of Lai Mohammed. Typical liars, embarrassment. These guys are Nigerian politicians that would lie to Nigerians every single day. Everybody knows they're lying, and I'm pretty sure they know that they are lying. But all they care about is their paycheck. They don't care about selling us out to destroy our lives. They don't care about the negative impact it has on the economy. Like currently, Nigeria's economy, even though it looks like it's the largest on the continent of Africa, it doesn't have any positive impact on the lives of Nigerians. Okay, the security situation in Nigeria is at its worst in the history of the country, all thanks to people like Femi Adesina and their predecessors, people like him that have been existing in political circles that would peddle lies to the people, even though they know that those lies are dangerous and would only make things worse. And the only benefit for them is that they are in those positions where they can earn good salaries, where they are in the political circle in general. Okay, so Austin Chenge reminds me of those types of people. And it's such an embarrassment. It's such a disgrace. And I'm not surprised that these types of people exist. They will continue to exist in the world because we have a population of 1 point something billion Africans. So what do you expect? Not all Africans are going to be good people. There are many morons amongst us too, okay? So do not be surprised that people like Austin Chenge come out. Your job is to make sure that you resist a fraudulent idiot like himself. Make sure you resist him, and he doesn't represent anybody good.